Hey guys, Oblivion here, coming at you with a Nautilus guide for Preseason 8. I wanted to basically share my knowledge on the champion since he is my most played. I used him basically to carry myself all the way from Silver to Plat, and that's something that I'm very proud of this season. And I didn't see anything on YouTube about him strictly in the support role. So I decided, you know what, let me try to share my knowledge and let's just see how things go. So I want to make this kind of a short video as possible because I don't know if you guys will enjoy League of Legends videos, but whatever, I enjoy it. Alright, so let's just go straight to it. So with Nautilus, I feel Nautilus is very interchangeable. You could basically do whatever you want with him in the secondary tree. In the first tree, you're always going to be running Aftershock. For many of you guys that don't know, you proc Aftershock literally with one single auto, or you proc it with a Q, or you proc it with an R. It doesn't matter. Essentially, you just have to immobilize the enemy champion, and you proc it. You get that extra damage on the AoE, and you get that extra armor and MAR, which is amazing. Now, of course, Aftershock has to get nerfed. This mastery is ridiculous, but I still see myself running Aftershock even after the nerfs. Still, like I said, Nautilus utilizes Aftershock so good that you need to use it. You understand? So hopefully you guys understand that aspect of it. For the secondary one, this starts to kind of go to, you know, whichever you prefer. I prefer Font of Life just because it allows your team to heal off you. So usually as Nautilus, what you're going to want to do ideally is you're going to want to queue into like the enemy team, into like 5 people, you know, all 5 of them, and then all 5 of them have the Font of Life mark, allowing your champions, your team, to basically vamp off them, heal off them. And of course it's based on your maximum health, which is what you're going to be building on Nautilus regardless. Knight's Vow, Righteous Glory, whatever you need. You know, every game is different, but usually you're going to want to stick to health because it's such a great stats on Nautilus. If you don't want Font of Life, or you don't think you're going to be utilizing it as much, that's perfectly fine. This is something I prefer. I have been trying Demolish, and it's also really good. Demolish is insane in solo queue, I think, because solo queue, it's all about getting that first tower gold, and someone as aggressive in Nautilus, you are basically going to want to all in as soon as possible, or as soon as you feel your power spike. And I know my champion well enough that I can push the enemy laners out of the lane with one single all-in. Once they're out of the lane, they have to recall because they're low or they're scared of getting dove. I can just keep autoing the turret, proc Demolish. Again, it's based on your max health, so this is really good on Nautilus, just to kind of rush that first tower gold or basically whatever you need. But all in all, I still like Font of Life maybe as support, just because it just overall it helps your teammate more, and it helps your team more essentially, and just Nautilus procs it really easily. For the third keystone, you can run whatever you want. I mean, usually I've been seeing a lot of Janna, a lot of Lulu, Sorakas in my game, so I've been rocking Mirror Shield. Basically gain that extra magic resist if you're up against an AD, something like Caitlyn or Ezreal or something like that. Iron Skin is really good. Or if you think you can survive laning phase enough, I take conditioning. Unfortunately though, like I said, I like to all in like level 2, level 3 on Nautilus because Aftershock is insane. I usually like to take either Mirror Shield or Iron Skin depending on the matchup, just because you kind of want to minimize the amount of damage if your all in doesn't work out. So for the last mastery, I like Second Wind. You're not going to take Revitalize. Don't even look at Overgrowth, please. But Revitalize isn't going to help you. You don't give shields to anyone, maybe except Face of the Mountain, but still. Revitalize doesn't help you because usually your main combo is you're going to Q into someone, auto attack W. You're usually going to W when you're over 40%, so Revitalize isn't going to do anything. So I don't really recommend taking Revitalize. Second one is the best thing to do, because if you Q in, you blow the enemy's summoners, and you're walking back. Nautilus really doesn't have any good follow-up after he wastes all of his abilities. So you're going to be taking a lot of harass from the ADC or from the support or whatever. Second Wind just helps you kind of minimize that a little bit, you know, while you pot up or something. Now for the second tree, this is kind of where, you know, it's all player preference. I recommend the second tree to just kind of experiment with it. You can literally, you know, I play a lot of Rakan. I like to play a lot of engaged champions, so, you know, Nautilus, Rakan. Those champions all have you can do something different with the second tree. I'm just going to be showing you kind of like the main route I go. I like inspiration, just because I feel like it helps you more personally, and the team. So what I'm rocking right here is Biscuit Delivery. I'm doing this for the mana, solely for the mana. You get an extra 40 mana, and I mean, it kind of helps you with your health if you're kind of getting bullied. But Nautilus, as soon as you waste your Q, your W, your E, you're going to be maybe half or even lower than half mana. So this just kind of helps you with that mana issue early on. Really good. Not only that, when you're playing Nautilus or Thresh or Rakan or whatever, you're going to want to be roaming a lot. So you're going to like rush Boots of Mobilities, and then you're just going to roam. So I like to be as healthy as possible out on the field instead of having to recall and waste all that time, you know, going to mid or going to top, you know. So Biscuit Delivery is just my personal preference. For the second one, you could of course run Magical Footwear. This is perfectly fine. You know, you basically earning 300 gold, and since you're playing an all-in champion, you technically should get kills pre 10 minutes in the lane, so you should get this quicker. But I like to literally first buy. I like to upgrade my my gold generating item, and then going straight for Boots of Mobility like pre 10 minutes, so like 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the game, I can go gank top lane, go gank mid lane. So I really don't like Magical Footwear on stuff like Nautilus or Thresh or Rakan, just because you are very roam centric. I've been rocking Futures Market just because, like I said, this goes back to my playstyle. I do like to roam a lot. Fucking second item, Boots of Mobility, and I like to roam. So Futures Market, essentially, since I'm not going to be in lane a lot, in theory, I'm not going to be in lane after level 6 or around level 5 or 4. This just helps me get my early items faster. Again, Boots of Mobility, Ruby Crystal into Sightstone. It just helps me get all those things. For the third tree, Cosmic Insight is really good, though I see this more on casters, Lulu, Janna. That's fine. I personally don't find the need for it. Cooldown reduction, max CDR, Summoner spell could be really good, and then item CDR is like whatever. But my item sets go from Face of the Mountain to Ruby Sightstone into like Locket or some shit like that. Approach Velocity, I've tried it. It's really not that good. Celestial Body. I really wanted to talk about this because I was rocking it for a time. The thing is, with Nautilus, again, I know my champion's damage. I have played this champion over like a lot of games. So Celestial Body kind of messes up my all-ins, which is something that I don't want. Just the minus 10% damage to champions really does affect that all-in for the 100 health, which you can simply get from for anything, but I was rocking this. I found my all-ins to be generally very weak when I was, and I did not like that, because what you want to do as Nautilus is go in level 2, level 3, blow summoners, tell your jungler level 4, go in again, and then just kill him. And Nautilus does do a fair bit amount of damage, again, with Aftershock, and just with those empowered autos when you W, those are really, really, really strong. Now, for the secondary tree, again, you can go Sorcery as well if you want. You can go Mana Flow. This is the only one I think you should take, because, again, Nautilus does waste a lot of mana, so just being able to Mana Flow your Q, which will be your main source of engage, and then, you can basically get it for free, and then you E or whatever you do your combo. Mana Flow is really good in that aspect, and it deals with mana. And then if you were to use this, it would go Mana Flow and Scorch, because Scorch again just deals a little bit more damage. What I found with this and Inspiration, though, is that Inspiration allows me to be out roaming and doing stuff a lot more often than Sorcery does. And not only that, Sorcery, it doesn't really scale very well into late game. At least late game, I can go into Futures Market and, do stuff, or, at least the biscuits have made me a little tankier or a little bit more mana. So that does help. Something else that I've been testing out with and I've really been liking, especially because I'm a very aggressive player. I am playing an aggressive support. You guys have to understand that if you're playing an aggressive support, you have to be aggressive. You cannot do anything else. Of course, you're gonna get poked out. You're gonna, something's gonna happen. But your all-ins have to be all-ins. So at least for domination, something that I've been running has been, of course, Zombie Ward is great for supports or just anything if you're running it. It's just really good, and adds some more visibility. In the end of the day, I'm sorry, visibility does win games. So, you know, wards do win games. So whenever you guys go back, please just buy a control ward or some shit. Don't cook your team. And what I've been rocking actually in this tree is of course Zombie Ward, and I've been which one is it? I think it's this one, Cheap Shot, because like I said, Cheap Shot basically allows you, whenever you damage an opponent, a champion with impaired movement, you deal 20 to 30 bonus true damage based on level. This is great because, like I said, you guys, let's say you're up against a Taric Varus, right? You're going to want to engage on the Varus. You're going to, you know, Q in. You've basically impaired it because you autoed him. You know, you're going to deal extra damage to him. Alright, the Varus flasher did something. You turn on the Taric. Again, Cheap Shot. Of course, it does have a 4-second cooldown, so assuming that you're autoing or doing some shit to the Varus for 4 seconds. But whatever, this just helps my all-in. I personally like it. This is like, you know, if I'm facing a Taric lane or something, like a lane that I feel like I can abuse or something like that, I like this. Again, Zombie Ward and Cheap Shot. I think Cheap Shot is the best thing in this tree with Zombie Ward. But usually with Nautilus, you're always going to want to stick to mainly Resolve tree. The Resolve tree, because Aftershock is just so fucking broken. Again, I know the mastery is going to get nerfed, but still, even after the mastery, I cannot see myself running this. Because it just gives you so much tanky stats. Your all-in potential is so good with the AoE and stuff like that. So anyways, you guys, I know that this was a random video for a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, but Yu-Gi-Oh has been kind of boring me out, so I figured, why not just fucking do this? You know, I do enjoy League. I've been playing it since Season 4, so let me know what you guys think of the guide, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think. See you.